Okay, sorry. I was on Facebook.
See,
I was on
I mean,
Facebook
we
trying to
already
make
on
sure.
CPT time, and he's like, I'm
Oh
on
my god.
Facebook scrolling. Like,
No, no, I was doing my thing making sure that we were good with the making sure we were good with the sharing thing. You got everything shared?
I was sharing a whole bunch of stuff, man, earlier. Yeah, share this stream to your audience. Let's go, audience.
Yeah.
Yo.
I'm
Oh
so
yeah,
I don't know. Can you hear me pretty good?
yeah, I can hear you.
I'm super like I just feel weird today. Okay.
Well, I was kind of late.
Dude, you're super late. And I want the record to reflect that the reason we are late today has nothing to do with me or my eyelashes or any of said issues.
I mean, it wasn't just your eyelashes. But anyway,
My
anyway,
eyelashes have been cooperative.
they
Uh-oh.
have. They've been
Yeah.
cooperative. Cooperative.
My eyelashes have been. So, first of all, happy third episode. Happy third episode anniversary, David.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yes, third episode anniversary. It's a
Third
big deal.
episode anniversary. I didn't even know we were keeping track of the time like that. But
Just
where has the
consistency.
time gone? Where has the time gone?
I don't know. But the Black Eyed Peas asked where the love. I mean, maybe they should make a song. Where's the time? Somebody made a
Uh,
song like that, didn't they?
yeah.
Something. I'm gonna watch me find it
Well,
next episode.
what was it? Swiss Beats and Drake. What was that? Where did love go? It's Lil
No,
Wayne.
no, no. Time, time, not
Oh,
love. Time.
Time. Coach Club. They had a song called
And
Time.
you know what? It probably is gonna be a old school probably song. So,
This
so
time won't give me time.
check this out. I
Mhm.
know we said we were gonna have special guests this week, but today is my niece's birthday. Shout out to Priya. Happy birthday.
Happy
So
birthday.
V Jizzle couldn't come on until next week because
Excuse me.
obviously, mm,
Yeah.
don't shade to my twin, okay? So they're gonna come on next week, and we're gonna have an interesting topic. I have some ideas brewing in my head of what I think we should do. So we're just gonna tackle some things today. So,
Okay.
I am. Have you been seeing that? Actually, no, 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 no. We're not even gonna do that. While I was waiting on your slow self, I made my little ooey thing.
Ooh, wait.
Uh oh. Uh oh, that's cheating.
You
Okay.
giving
It
all the
just
tea.
cheated. It just cheated. It's okay. It's okay. Cause I was messing with it when you hit me up and was like, "Are you on yet?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be sending you
Yeah.
a link." Uh,
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
we
so
get to
people,
do.
before we actually get started with the episode, I just want to apologize because we said that we are going to be starting at 7 o'clock, and I was actually out working, and I didn't get home until 7 o'clock. Somebody
Tell us
ran over.
anything.
No, man, somebody actually damaged our fiber and had customers down, so I had to go out there and fix it. So
Tell
I
me
made it
anything.
home, 7 o'clock. I always tell myself if I made it to the parking lot, I'm on time.
Mm-mm. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's wrong with today's society, which kind of plays into our generational differences.
Hey, I'm just
It's
saying.
not even on there, but I need to add it. Timeliness, okay? Timeliness.
Mm,
I've been sitting
yeah,
down here since like 6:20 because I was like, if we do run into some technicality issues like we did last week, I would have enough time to fix it.
right.
We wouldn't be running late, and then of course, you know,
Hey, I'll let you know.
somebody on here. We won't say any names, but somebody.
Yeah, I know. Mike Lee, 11'7",
It's
5'5".
it's oh my god, oh my god. You just mad because you're a midget. I
I
mean,
am
you're
not a midget.
a small person. Is that what they
I
call
am
me?
not a
Midget.
small person. I'm an
David, I'm
average
taller
person.
than you.
Shut your face. I'm not talking about
Okay,
you right now.
already. Let's get down to ooh wee. Oh, that sounds
Ooh, wait. What we got?
okay. So we're gonna kick. First of all, this is something I had to do for my own self, right? I don't think when people be like millennials, Gen X, Gen Z, which these people put 10, 20. Some of these I was looking a lot on Google,
Oops.
and a lot of them the years can fluctuate a little bit.
Yeah.
Because some of them the Gen X goes all the way up to 1979. Some of them they go up to 76, 74. So we're gonna say about the 80s start millennials,
Hmm.
but I put this in there because when people always talk about, you know, Gen Z, Gen X, sometimes those borders and those lines get a little grayed out for me. So I need to know. I needs to know. But I thought that this one was funny because some of the stuff is like when you go through all of the different, especially as they're talking about the generations in their work ethic, a lot of them
Right.
like say millennials and Gen Z are lazy. But I guess that's like a huge change from what it used to be. So I put this slide in there so that I can have it in my memory when we're talking about the different generations. What
Mm.
who and what we're talking about. Because
Okay.
baby boomers is all old now. Baby
Yeah.
boomers
Yeah.
is old. They out here gray haired and well actually technically so is millennials while I'm
Yeah.
talking.
But I'll be like, those are the cotton tops boomers. Call 'em
You,
cotton
you're
cotton
you're
tops.
you're about to be a cotton top, my G.
You know what? I don't see that going on here. You see that? You see that action right there?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
All
No,
right, let's get
I'm
into
good.
these
I'm good.
slides.
All right. Let's go.
This was not
Mm.
supposed to be. It's this one. I was about to say, what is we doing? Okay, still got
You the one
technicalities.
driving today.
I know, and I click him. I'm click happy. This
I
is wait
see.
a minute. Let me see how many. Okay, yeah, this is right. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you have not seen this going around on social media, it's like this girl. Someone posted this. What unserious generational curse are you breaking? And then people are responding. Green screen responding or just stitching this.
Hmm.
And it's been very interesting to hear some of the things that people say. Like people say, I let my kids open more than one box of cereal. I'm letting, I do got McDonald's money and things like that. So I thought this would be fun because I want to know, like, as a parent or, just in general. So, David, you start. If you could think of something, an unserious generational curse, what are you breaking? Because obviously, this person gave an example of I throw away stained Tupperware and we open more than one box of cereal. Oh, I didn't even read that because a lot of people been saying that anyway. So, reading is fundamental, Letitia.
It's fun to
Fundamental.
mental. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Y'all
You
hit off
know,
in the comments if you guys have any generational curses.
no.
Unserious.
I'm all about eating leftovers. For some reason, this generation be talking about they don't want to eat leftovers. I don't know what the heck is wrong with them. Like, it's something wrong with food that was cooked the day before. Like, we are
Mm.
not wasting no food in this house. We pay for this. We gonna eat it. I don't know what's wrong with these people.
Uh, that's actually not you breaking. That's sticking with it because you're sticking with the generate. Like the back in the day, you did eat leftovers,
I
and
don't
that's
care.
why I don't eat leftovers.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I mean, I do. I'm getting better now. I really am getting better. But when Mike and I first got together, he would laugh at me because I didn't eat leftovers.
Are you
I would,
serious?
yes.
I had no
I
idea
like
that
to
you
cook,
didn't eat leftovers. That is crazy.
and I still don't all the way right now. I mean, I try. Like certain things, like pasta, I'll eat.
Hmm.
But if it's like chicken or fish, I don't heat that stuff up. Like fried
Well,
chicken, I won't
chicken,
heat those things
chicken
up.
you can get away with, but fish is that one hard thing that it's hard to reheat it and make it taste right. You know?
That's the same with chicken. You
Oh,
can't
you can get away.
reheat, microwave, or in the oven. Fish, you might got a shot to put it in the oven, but I don't
Chicken,
do that.
shoot,
Nope.
toss that mess in the
Unless
air
it's
fryer. It's like, boy, a kernel.
no,
We
no,
got
seriously.
McDonald's money.
And toy money. Oh my God, do we have toy money?
Oh shoot!
Shoot, this boy be in my pot. I'm telling you, he don't want to do a lick of nothing but want toys.
You know, one thing
We
that's
got to get
funny.
into almost a fist fight for him.
The funny thing about McDonald's, I think they were looking out for parents now when they came up with that little point system, because they know the parents are always going to
Oh my.
McDonald's. Like, look, we're gonna reward you for coming back because we know your
Thank
kids
you.
is hitting your
Thank you
pockets
cuz I
hard.
we know you we know you tired of this. We know you tired of this cuz that's
Like,
all kids want to eat nowadays. Now that is one thing I will say is that when we were growing up, we ate nothing but hot meals.
mhm,
So McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell, all that stuff was a treat for us. We didn't
man,
get that like, I remember we used to pass and I would look at the sign like, "Oh, maybe this weekend. Maybe my allowance." So whenever I babysat in the weekends, I would use my
mhm.
money to order Korean food.
Not Korean food, really.
Yep, I would order bulgogi and
Because,
rice. Whenever I had babysitting money, I would order bulgogi and rice, and they used to deliver to my grandparents' house. And that's the only place I ordered to because normally it was just me and Verlon in there, or just
mhm,
me, and nobody would eat my food. But if it was anywhere else, somebody would eat my food. But
okay,
back to my leftovers. So yeah, I don't. I'm getting better now, but I think it's I cook so much. I like things fresh, and so I mean, I do eat them every once in a while, like Thanksgiving and stuff, like turkey and
mhm.
ham, those types of things. Oh yeah, they are better the next day because they've got opportunity. Ham, especially, marinate up in them juices and berries, and pasta too. But for the most part, like I was not eating. I
Man,
wasn't
I tell
eating.
you what really gets to hitting. It's two things like chili and
Mm,
spaghetti. Second day
I
around,
see. Everybody says that about spaghetti, which lasagna most definitely yes, but
yeah,
with spaghetti, when I eat spaghetti, I put the noodles on the bottom,
mhm,
and then put the sauce on top. I don't mix it together and then put it in the bowl. So
mhm,
I separate. It's separate for me. So it doesn't really have time to incorporate like that.
right.
But I mean, I guess so. I honestly, I think my generational curse is what I'm breaking is everything when it comes to parenting. Like me and my son have like it's not me and Mike had made a deal way before Mike was even thought of when we decided to like we're gonna have a future together. We talked about how we would be as parents and a husband and wife and so on and so forth. And so one of the things that we had discussed was just never telling our kid because I told you so. Although Mike do be getting on my nerves sometimes, and I do have to hit him with that "I told you so" card. But for the most part, we have real open conversations with our son so that he is adequately knowledgeable of whatever it is we're talking about. So that,
Mhm,
like, for instance, I think I mentioned this last week, not to be heavy or anything, like with all these children going through certain things like this fentanyl epidemic or whatever, and um unaliving themselves because of bullying. Like we have
mhm,
open conversations about that with him because I want him to understand the severity of those decisions or feeling like you can't talk to anybody. And so we talk to him about everything. And if you go up to him and ask him what's our number one rule in this house, and he'll say we don't lie in this family.
right.
So it's always upfront and on the top. Like if he do something, we're like, Mike, what'd you do? And he'll be like, well, but we have that open conversation because I don't want him to be confused when it comes to why we gave him a direction
Mhm.
or why we do the things that we do. I want him to be fully knowledgeable. So that's probably the unserious generational curses that I actually talk to my kid about what's going on in the world. Um, but I thought that this was going to be a cool ass icebreaker
Right.
for
And then
us.
you started getting all deep and
I know. Let's go back into this.
all right.
Part
So
of what we're going to talk about today, which me and you had already talked about, I was going to put the video on here, but it was just too much. I saw a video the other day
yeah.
about Lotto. Lotto was doing an interview, and the host asked her, about her pet peeves for men. And she
Mhm,
was basically like, uh, men want a traditional woman, but they're not a traditional man. And then she was basically like, going in on, be a traditional man. Can you build a house? Can you do this? Can you do that? And then she said at the end, which is what caught me. We're not going to dive too deep into this just yet. But what caught me is she said, uh, when she was talking about men not being traditional men, so they can't be asking for a traditional woman. And then she said, if anything, you should be submissive to me. I was like, wait a minute. So just lightly tap on it as we're going to dive deeper into it in this actual broadcast.
All right, so I'm just gonna give you my 2 cents on it. All right,
I do
so
want all 15 of your cents.
15. Let me see if I got 15 cents around. All right, so anyway, with her coming out the other gate, guns firing, like, bro, your whole idea how this should work is backwards. And that's the problem. Everybody is trying to be the alpha in a relationship. Everybody's trying to lead, and nobody really has a clear direction. And how are you expecting somebody to bring something to the table that you're not bringing yourself? You know, you can't tell somebody to live up to this certain expectation and you're not doing it for yourself, or at least putting yourself in a position to go in that pathway. And a lot of these people, they have these preconceived notions that this is what it should be, and this is how I want it to be for me to be in this relationship with this person, and they're nowhere near the caliber of the person that they want to even be with. I mean, this is the stuff that Kevin Samuels used to bring up all the time.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying I'm
He's
like a
crazy.
backer, Kevin Samuel, and I think people should be talked to like, no, I'm not saying like that, but I'm just saying, baby, if you're gonna talk about somebody bringing something to the table, don't go putting somebody down. Look,
So here's my take with this comment from Lotto. I'm gonna break it down and dissect it. Just I'm gonna separate the two comments. When she says that men want traditional women, but they're not a traditional man, I think that her perspective or intention of that final comment, where you should be submissive to me, was in regard to a fake man. Because if you really look at it, some of these Gen Z people and even some millennials are not built the same way as traditional or baby boomers or even Gen X. They don't have the same mentality when it comes to their gender roles or their roles, period. We won't even say gender roles. So, my hope was that her intention was for people that, you got these men out here that's couch surfing and out here acting like they hustling, or they for the streets or whatever, and they want a woman that's going to cook and all this other stuff, but you still stay with your mama. That would make sense.
mm-hmm,
That part would make sense. But if you're in a situation where you have, you know, a man that he has a job, whether it's a good job or just whatever, he's consistent, he got a good work ethic, he tries his best to do whatever.
mm-hmm,
I don't see that being, if he's doing everything he can, or if she's doing everything she can in the relationship and putting forth everything that's necessary, I think that is that's sufficient. So I think that my hope is that her intention for this particular comment was towards those men that are not living up to, like you said, what their own expectations of their partner.
right. But I mean, the way it comes off though, that very end is like you should be submissive
Mhm.
to me. It's more or less like I'm winning the bread in this relationship. I'm the one that's providing. You bow down, and that's the problem. It's like, look, if you want somebody to come in and be that man, I'm not saying that all men are created equal when it comes to this, but give the man a place to grow. If you are already having that type of mentality, trust and believe there's a lot of men that'll look at you and be like, I ain't got time to deal with this shenanigans. I'm going somewhere else. You know,
Mm.
this
Yeah.
this 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 right here is the attitude right here alone is making me not even want to mess with you, just because of the simple fact I feel like it's going to be resistance on a caliber of, look, how are we even supposed to come eye to eye and have an understanding, and this is how you perceive things, that makes no sense at all. So It's funny how that one was like that. And then I don't know if you had a chance to check out that Ebony K. Williams interview that was on the Breakfast Club a while back. And they asked the question, "Would you date a bus driver?"
Hold
And
up. Don't no no mm-mm, mm-mm. I said touch on the topic.
ah,
And there was a reason why I said touch on the topic. Now, hold that thought. Write it down because that's what I just did to something I wanted to kind of dive deeper into with this. So the reason why we chose this topic today was I talked to you the other day, and I was telling you I was telling you about one of my homies that was like, the difference between Big Mike
mhm,
is that you are cooking Big Mike big boy meals,
mhm.
like grown man meals.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was like, what? Like
I
I
mean,
was like, you're gonna have to elaborate on that. And the person responded by saying, well, you got these women out here that make tacos and make, rotel for
hot
dinner
dogs.
or hot dogs, and you know, you got the girls out here that's making noodles and whatever, hamburger helper for dinner, and
Mhm.
thinking that that's a real meal. And he said versus women out here that are making, smothered pork chops or whatever. He was like, think about it. And you see this a lot on posts. I do see this a lot, but he was like, think about it. You see a lot on social media where people say, did Big Mama make, when was the last time you ever seen Big Mama make tacos? And if you really think about it, like in my generation, my grandma, I've never known my grandmas to make tacos, none of them.
Mm.
So I thought that that was interesting because he was just like, little subtle things like that can have a huge impact.
Right.
So you got your guys that, whatever, eat big boy meals, and you guys got your guys that's still playing in the kiddie pool when it comes to food. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, which was funny because uh I think our algorithms, Alexa, be listening in, because next thing I start seeing is foodie dating sites all
Foodie
over my
dating site.
Facebook's timeline.
Where is this at?
Yes, no, this I'm serious. That's why I
I,
put this on here.
I never knew they had foodie dating sites.
Yes, I keep seeing it
Those
on
are
my,
good though.
and I don't even be on dating sites. Obviously, I'm freaking married. But ever since he said that, I keep seeing it on my tacos are good though. On my my
Yeah.
timeline. So I was like, what is this? When I looked this up, like this one that says Food Lovers Dating Show, that was overseas. I think it was in Europe or something. But this Foodie Love, that's a
Mhm.
HBO show. Don't ask me
Oh
when it
wow.
came out. But apparently, like, they have dating websites for people that love food. And I'm like, and then they have the ones that I've been seeing on Facebook,
If I
they
made
have
one, it'd be
ages.
called Big Bodies.
Oh
Big
my God.
Bodies.
Oh my God.
Hmm.
But for
Hmm.
real,
Yeah.
they have foodie. I did not know that. So this is obviously some new stuff with generations because I would have never thought. First of all, let me just tap right on into it so we could stop beating around the bush. This is
Yeah.
what we're gonna tackle today.
All right.
But
Let's get
I
it.
thought that that was interesting. So generational differences and their impact in different areas based on tradition, cooking or foodies, family, marriage or relationships, financial literacy, careers, manners. That's why I put respect, like mannerisms and education.
Mm.
So, where do you
So,
want to start, David? Spin the wheel. Where do you want to start?
tradition.
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 All right.
Talk about tradition. You brought it up when you said, "When's the last time Big Mama made tacos?"
So, and all of this ties into each other.
Hmm.
So, you have so many traditions. I feel like have improved, but some have like been lost in the sauce, if you will. And
Okay.
honestly, we can tackle all of these at the same time because nowadays you have a lot of people that are steering away from traditions when it comes to cooking. You
Mm.
have people that are steering away from traditions when it comes to how they're building families versus baby boomers and things. You didn't see a lot of, divorced women especially were frowned upon back in, just a couple of decades ago, really.
Right, right,
And so you don't see, I mean, there was kings that had to renounce their throne just to be able to marry a woman who had been divorced or had children. Wedlock was a big deal. People, grandma and grandpa, a lot of them, let's just keep it real, a lot of them got married because
they got
they,
knocked up.
right. And so now obviously it's a running joke that,
Shotgun weddings.
right. So you got that, but now people are saying like traditional weddings. They're not even like, you're not supposed to wear white unless you're pure, or nobody but the bride wears white. Nowadays the whole doggone the invitation is white and black tie or whatever. Then you got careers in education, like, it was forced, like we didn't get a chance to go, especially black people didn't get a chance to go get education, so they're like, make sure you guys go to college or whatever. Now people are like, I just went to a trade school or whatever.
Right,
One thing I think that out of all this stuff on this list, which we're going to tackle, one thing I think that is really good and benefit, and the impact on it has been significantly positive, is financial literacy, because that's one thing that we weren't necessarily taught back in the day, and now people, it's boom in your face
hmm,
on how to be financially stable and knowledgeable, and investing, savings accounts, how to, you know make your money work for you instead of you working for your money. I think that that has been a very positive thing, which is why I made sure that I added it. But I think some of the other things we've kind of lost, like, you know like you said, traditions when it comes to cooking. A lot of people don't cook like Big Mama. They're not cooking from scratch. They're cooking out of boxes or cans or whatever, or fast food DoorDash restaurants.
right.
So, and then the idea of family. I know when we were talking about like relationships and things, and you had mentioned something that was very interesting to me when I said to you I said to you that I had watched a video after I saw that Lotto interview. I saw another video, and the lady was like, if you see two men and both of them say they dated me, if one man says that I was disconnected, I didn't give him the support he needed, and the other man said I was the best thing he ever had, I was always loving, caring, and supportive, believe them both. And she said the reason why you should believe them both is because I give you what you breathe. So
Mhm.
the energy that you put into me is what I reciprocate back to you. So if
Right,
you were disconnected, you didn't give me the attention, I'm going to give that right back to you. If you gave me love and unconditional love and support and positive energy, I'm going to breathe that back into you. So you breathe in energy into your partner.
hmm.
I I think that that is like, yeah. Let me let you tap into that.
So you just kind of went on a tangent there,
Sorry. Well, I kind of
and you
touched
just
all
telling you
bases so
just
that you
touching
could just do
everything.
what you do.
So traditional thing that I wanted to bring up, like with cooking. Big Mama used to be in the kitchen throwing down.
Mhm.
And when Big Mama went away, a lot of traditions went away, like Sunday dinners and get-togethers, family get-togethers, cookouts. A lot of families don't get together the same way like they used to because
Mhm.
Big Mama's not there no more. The other thing that changed up was how people learn how to cook, because Big Mama would show you how to cook different things. Like, baby, this is what you do to make this taste better. You add this, and they would teach you all kinds of things like that. A lot of the mothers, that I wouldn't say the ages changed on mothers as far as getting younger and stuff, because there were young mothers back in the older times too.
Yeah.
But it just seems like a lot of things were lost. Each generation, it looks like we lost, one of the staples, and it was never replaced. So, cooking, it hasn't really been the same unless it's been somebody in the family that kept that tradition going. Just like you said the other week that you picked up how to cook Mike's favorite pie. You know,
Yeah.
it took a little bit, but you figured it out. but you've been learning cooking for how long? Who stepped in your life and taught you how to cook?
That's how I was raised. I was
Exactly.
raised on hot meals.
Exactly. But how many parents out there are now cooking hot meals every night? Or
Yeah.
I was like, I got a friend, she cooks, and I was talking to her. She was like, I'm worried about what I'm cooking for dinner tomorrow. I'm getting that stuff prep now. And I'm just like, oh, don't talk nasty to me, girl. You
Oh
know,
my god. And that's why that is exactly why I went and got that foodie dating site because
don't talk
I'm
nasty to
telling
me,
you
girl. Talk about, hey,
that is a love
hey, I'm
language,
I'm I'm I'm,
food.
I'm working on food for tomorrow. Oh, really now?
Oh my
Really?
god, here you was like, I'm on my way, girl.
I'm on
Ooh.
my way. Hold
Did you
on. I
put
know
your
what my
900 voice on? Hey, big mama.
so I got my own plate. Nah,
You
you ain't gotta
tickling
wash
my
nothing.
fancy. You don't gotta speak to me like that, baby. I'm
You
on
ain't
my
gotta
way.
deal with a good time with gravy. You know what
I
I'm
ain't gonna
saying?
lie though. That's why it's on this list because you would
Mhm.
think that food is just like something that comes with it, but in reality, when people say the way to a person's heart, they say man, of course, but sometimes that could be. But the way to a person's heart is through food. That is a
Mhm.
serious thing
It
because
is. It is a serious thing.
that's how I hooked Mike.
I
I
know
cooked
that's how
for
you
him,
got Mike. I know exactly what
but
you
it
did.
wasn't intentional. It wasn't
Whatever.
intentional. No,
I
for real.
remember. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold
I
on.
hope
Hold
his
on.
mama
No.
ain't
No.
watching, but
No. I
Mike
remember.
and I had agreed just to be uh uh friends.
I
A
remember that.
401k plan.
I remember
That was
when
our agreement.
where were you? You were staying off of Bannister, and he came out there to help you move. I remember.
Yep.
I
Yep.
remember.
I was in Dang, you got a good memory. Damn.
Hey, like
Yes,
I
that is
said, man.
true. That was
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Mike coming through to help me out. Well, I'm gonna get out of this apartment. Blah 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 blah. He ain't never left since.
he didn't well, no. He did piss me off once. I was
Well, I
like,
mean, every
get your duffel bag and get the F out.
but that's that learning curve from each other. You got to figure out what y'all doing once it starts
Yeah.
getting serious like that. Whenever you start occupying somebody's space, that's when you really start understanding where the toes are. You're like, oh, I got to step over this. Be careful. I don't want to hurt you. You know,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You done woke the beast up. You done woke the beast. We know
he'll
what's on
be
that slide, so we're
he'll
gonna
be all
move.
right. He'll be all right.
So, but I mean, just like you're saying right now, old girl was talking to you because you found an attraction to her saying, "I'm about to prep dinner." Like people don't realize how important a home cooked meal can be to certain people. You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
or hold on, I'll tell you some other stuff. Like, let's say, for instance, I like to cook. You
We
know,
know you. We know you
I,
be
I,
throwing
I
down.
enjoy cooking. It is my love language to see people eat my food and have a smile on
Mm-hmm.
their face. That's the joy,
Yeah.
the epitome of happiness for me. And to have somebody that I could cook with, that would be amazing. And then to top that, you know, yeah, the top
That's
that,
look.
yeah,
Go on a foodie dating site, David. Go on a foodie.
yeah.
Look, don't they look happy right here?
They do look happy.
Don't
They
they look
over
happy?
there just like, look, but they all look like they at the restaurant. I'm trying to be the restaurant. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying. I'm like,
and
look,
that's
I'm trying to be like, hey, babe, I need you to do the sides. I'm about to go ahead and get these proteins going. I'm just saying,
and
that's
it's
what I'm looking for. I need a partnership,
hmm
to go ahead
that
and
is
rock
a
the spot.
good date idea though too because you get when you have a date with someone, you have an opportunity to really be like engaged and interact with them and do something that I always thought that cooking on dates and stuff, going to like a cooking class or whatever, or doing a cook
Gotta
together
be
type of
dope.
date, I think those are really cute.
Yeah, I think that is wonderful. And it's something about the kitchen, and I know you understand where I'm coming
Hmm.
from when I say this. I gotta trust you to be in the kitchen with me.
Yeah, because
I
otherwise you'll
gotta.
get in my way.
It's not just getting in my way. I take pride in my food. I don't
Hmm.
want you to mess up my recipe. So I don't want you to end up doing
Mhm.
something that's going to cause my flavor profile to be off for what I usually do. That's the biggest thing.
Mm.
So a thing that I read this week, and it was in 17 habits of a successful person. It's a talking about trust, and it says you treat people better when you trust them. So if you trust somebody, you'll treat them better automatically. If you don't really trust people,
Okay.
trust and believe you won't even give them the time of day. If you in my kitchen, I trust you. You know, and people don't realize that it's those little things, those little areas that people may take for granted for you being in that area, that it is the most sacred area for somebody else, and that could be a place in your home or a place in your
Mm.
heart. Talking,
Yeah.
talking deep. Yeah, I'm going deep.
Yeah, you went you dived down like you was on that one little
Mm,
vessel.
high dive, high dive. Yeah, I wouldn't go on submarine deep, but I'm just trying to get the point. Get the point across. Get the point across so you
Got
understand.
you, got you. My
Yeah.
bad, my bad.
So going back to like what Muffin Flavor said. What's up? Thanks for tuning in, Muffins. I see you. I'm gonna have some turkey legs this weekend. So you know,
Look at you. Come on now. Come on now, Jesus.
I'm hooking up turkey legs this weekend, and I'm gonna do some more honey sriracha wings. So yeah, I'm gonna get those cracking. Um, It does go both ways. Everybody should bring something to the table. I know that's what you were commenting on that past subject we were on, but everybody should
Yeah.
bring something to the table. Everybody should be a productive person or active person in a relationship. It shouldn't be one person pulling all the weight, or one person being the the emotional stable person, and then the other person is just reaping the benefits of it. And
Right.
it seems like a lot of relationships nowadays is crazy, or even dating. Like I was sitting up looking at stuff online, wasn't even paying attention, and I came across something called instant dating. And I talked to you about it earlier a little bit, and I thought it was the weirdest thing because I thought it was like, oh, okay, like you said, speed dating. But then
Yeah.
they started going into in depth in it, and I was just like, dog, this is savage. So people were getting
What
on
is
like,
wait. Is it okay, so this is the thing we were talking about that's not I thought it was speed dating, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
this is not. Okay, yeah, okay.
yeah. So
Yeah,
basically,
this is
yeah,
some
so
new
it's
generational
new
shit.
generational stuff. So basically, what they doing is like they will set up a date with somebody, whatever you're on, Tinder or Bumble, whatever dating thing
See, I
you're
don't
on.
even know what all them is.
No, I'm not wearing pink today, Dalton. Anyway,
Uh-oh. Yes, he is.
no,
Don't let him fool you. Yes, he
no
is.
pink. So what people are doing now, and I think it really sprung from the COVID lockdown stuff, because all you had
Mm.
was time to be on dating sites and not really go anywhere. So if you set up a date, you show up and like you go to Starbucks and hey, I'm here. The person that you set the date up will show up. If they didn't like what they seen, they would just walk right by you, do whatever they doing at Starbucks, and walk right out.
Wait,
Like you was never there. Like, bro.
isn't that like ghosting?
Yeah,
Like
but I mean,
standing somebody up?
it's like real time.
And now they put a whole so, see, that's what I'm talking about with
So and they,
generational
and they call that
differences.
instant dating because it's like you were on a date and instantly.
No, that's called ghosting. That's called standing somebody up. That is not
No, I
like
mean you're not
instant dating
really.
is at least
Technically, you're
introducing
not getting
yourself.
stood up just because the simple fact that you did show up. You were there in the same place,
What
but
kind of heartbreak do you think that would give somebody's confidence?
man, I
Like,
mean,
yeah, I
it's
came, but I wasn't feeling that red lipstick, and your hair curl was a little too far to the left.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're good. I think I
I
seen
mean,
your toe bent too much out your sandal. I'm good on that. Come on.
I mean,
This ain't boomerang, my dude.
it's some things where let's have the conversation. I mean I can't sit up here and say like I'm perfect. I've ghosted people. People ghosted me. It's been the whole dating game is crazy right now.
Yeah.
So it's just like trying to figure it out. I talked to a couple friends. It's like, dude, it's like dancing. It's like you don't want to go ahead and get out of the tempo or out of sync. It's like you don't want to go ahead and do a tango and they trying to do a waltz, you know, you don't want to be too
Mm.
interested because then they're like you're doing too much, and then you don't want to pull back too much. They're like, well, I don't think you really want me, and you're like, so what do you want from me? You know,
And
it's
sorry, I had to drop my seat a little bit because my back is hurting. But
solid.
that's like we were talking about how this dating nowadays versus back in the day. Like back in the day, you had to court your
Yeah,
partner.
shit,
You
you
guys
had
went
to
out
ask
on
parents.
dates. The first date was just whatever, and then the second date you might go to the drive-in. Like you really had to actually take the time, which I think with this instant
Mm,
dating and speed dating in these newer generations or ghosting and things like that,
mm,
it might contribute to why marriages are not lasting as long as they used to because people are, I don't know if they're giving quality chances to other people because like I said, when your grandparents or whatever, they courted each other or courted the woman in that day. They
mm,
courted her and then they got together. You weren't just giving up your cookies the first night.
right.
M- Most of the time it was, preparing that part of you for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just so like, they dressed a lot differently, a lot more covered up. Like sexy to your grandpa back in the day was a dress that covered everything.
All he see
You
was
might
ankles.
have a little
That's
bit
all
of
he could see
yeah,
was ankles. He's like, girl, you got some
calves and
sexy ankles.
yeah, but
Woo!
nowadays, these girls is going out with pasties on basically. So it's a different, obviously it's a whole different arena.
Yeah,
But I,
but
I think that yeah,
uh,
people are getting cut through to what they want, but they're also not getting longevity in certain things in relationships and things.
yeah, I think you really brought up a good point when you said that, they're not really putting in the investment. And I think that's really what it is.
Yeah.
That the courtship was the investment. That was building the foundation, understanding, how to communicate with each other, setting intentions and going from there. Everything
Right.
right now is set up to be instant gratification. So instantly
Mhm.
linking with somebody, instantly hooking up with somebody. If you instantly hook up with somebody, then what are you looking forward to as far as, anything?
What are you
What do you
building on?
what are you building on? Nothing,
Yeah.
So a lot of these relationships are just so quick and they get blown anytime something happens that, resembles any type of resistance. Uh we were talking about how
Or they're so quick getting into, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But or they're so quick to get into those situations that they actually didn't pay attention to what, does this person have the qualities that I'm looking for in a long term partner? And you realize that after 6 months, oh, wait a minute, I just wasted 6 months of my time because you don't know how to cook. You were cute and sexy in that dress, or your muscles was popping out that shirt, and you had great, bedroom activity. But now that it's getting down to we're over that newlywed phase, now I got to figure out you. I didn't actually take the time to figure you out. I figured your physicalities out.
well, call it for what it is. That is a situationship.
Exactly. The
That that that
401k.
that is where that terminology comes from. Situationship. But nobody's doing the work anymore.
Mhm.
It, it- you get more out of something if you put in the time. You respect
Right.
it more, you value it more. And as long as it's as easy as a microwave dinner, you're just gonna throw away the tray. It's like, look, I can go ahead and open this up. It's
Right.
hot right now. As soon as I'm done with it, throw it in the trash. I'm
But
done. It's not
it's not fulfilling. It's just
no,
a temporary fix to
exactly.
hold you over.
And I mean that's what the culture is now with all these different sites and social media platforms and stuff like that. I mean, if you look at it, even what's his name? Beyonce's stepdad or whatever, got caught up in looking at pornography and stuff like that on Twitter.
Oh, is that I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's just like, everybody's trying to
The
be
actor
the
guy.
no, that's not the actor. That's Beyonce mama, soon to be ex husband.
Yeah. What's it called? Lawson. He's an actor. And
Is
his
he?
daughter is yeah, his daughter is Bianca Lawson. She's an actress too.
On Twitter, yeah. Well, he could have been on something else and not being getting caught up liking stuff. People can see when you hit like on stuff like that. But
Yeah.
you know, going back to what I was saying though, it's just like everybody's just like, if I can go out and find it, you know, it's not like I'm at home and this is what I cultivated, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference that I get from this, being able to watch grandparents, you know, and their relationships, and you just see how, you know, they go from bickering and talking crazy to each other to turn around like, I love you. I couldn't do this without you. It's just like it takes a while to get there, but once you make it there, it's like there's no getting away from what you have made.
And
And
I
there's so
go
many
ahead, sir.
people now that, you know, they want that. And I could say I could attest to this myself. Like once I got divorced and I was still in that husband frame of mind, it took me a while to get away from like wanting to have that with the next person, like that whole marriage mindset, and bringing that to somebody else that wasn't ready for it, that I have not had a chance to build that foundation with. You know, you can't expect somebody else to be like that, and you have not even, you know, built anything yet. You know.
Yeah. He said our grandparents were just as wild as we were nowadays. I think the biggest difference is that they actually put in the work, even though that they, because I would agree to that. I will agree to that. That I feel like, the older generations, they had their moments that they was out kicking it. They had their moments of, you
Yeah.
know arguments, I'm sure, but they also put in the work because they didn't. The sanctity of marriage meant something to them. It was more valuable than what I feel like it is now.
A lot of
Like,
things.
but I feel like the reason why I put marriage in the middle of that slide was because I feel like generations and the differences are influenced by upbringing.
Hmm.
So I feel like all of that surrounds, like the lady said, what you breed into
Hmm.
me
That's
is
what you
what you
got
get. So what you breed into your offspring is what you get,
out.
right? So if you breed into your offspring that you need to be financially literate, you need to be like have a vast or at least an acceptable understanding about how money works.
Right.
If you breed into your offspring the importance of education, because we all know you can take anything away from a person, but you cannot take away their education. Once
Hmm.
it's embedded, it's done. Once it's learned, it's done.
Hmm.
So you breed in the importance of education, whether that be a trade, whether that be military service, whether that be college. You breed into them education. That's the mindset that they'll have. You breed into them respect and mannerisms. That is what they will have. You breed
That's
into
true.
them traditions. That is what they will have. You breed into them family or the importance of loyalty and communication. That's what they will have. You breed into them how to be professional in a work environment. That is what they have. But when you stop breeding those things into them, that is when they lack.
Hmm.
If you don't breed in, like people, we talked about the whole yes ma'am, no ma'am stuff last
Hmm.
week too. You don't breed that into them, then they don't have that mannerism going into a professional environment. They don't have that mannerism going into a personal environment or public environment. They don't have that mannerism. If you don't teach your children or your offspring that when an adult or an elder walks into a room, you greet them and allow them to sit down if you're seated, then they're not going to have that mannerism. If you don't teach your kids, even if you make new traditions, oh my god, I think he's trolling us today.
Excuse
I
me.
don't think so. I disagree, because if it wasn't for the traditions that I have growing up, I wouldn't be the wife that you have right now. So you could get your trolling ass up off our podcast broadcast today. Never mind, don't do that. We like your viewership. Thank you for stopping in and kicking it with us. We appreciate you.
I
But
mean,
no, I think it's super important that you breed that, because if you think about it, like, I think somebody said last week that nowadays big mamas are 35.
they are,
Like, so they
but
don't have
they
that,
don't have it. They don't have that established
yeah.
lineage going with them. And I mean, it's not peer pressure from people that passed away, but it's structured. structure, family structure is what helps everybody stick together. If there's no structure, it's just like a child that doesn't have discipline. If you don't discipline a child, they're going
Mm.
to run rampant. Everything that you have set up is going to fall apart. And you can see how just with manners, you know, people are upset when somebody will hold the door open and then the person that walks through doesn't even say hi or thank you or anything.
Yeah.
A person
Oh
was just
yeah.
shy because they didn't say thank you because the guy held the door open for the
And
lady.
slam that damn thing on your ankles.
Exactly. People that have manners, they'll go ahead and speak up and like, bro, for real, is that how we acting? You know, but it just lets you know it's like I was talking to somebody that's like, something, this is like common courtesy. You know, I was
Mhm.
telling them about how, when you came over one time to do music, like it had been so many years since we hung out. And I was like, what did I ask you?
And it was late though. It
It was
was
like,
late. And the
it was,
first and you didn't even know Mike at this point. I mean, you knew of him, but you had never met him.
yeah, I
You
never met him.
said before we even get started, call your husband and let him know that you made it. And you were like, "Do I need to talk to him and whatever?" Like you were very, and that's a brotherly thing for you to do, especially considering you didn't even know him. And now y'all besties, and I'm just the outcast. But it's cool. It's
But I
cool.
mean, it's called
But
respect.
yeah, that was yeah, and it
It's
is.
called
It's
respect. I
a
respect Mike as a man. I didn't even know Mike, but I
yeah.
respected him for who he is and what he does. It's like I know he takes care of you and he makes you happy. So you family, and
Mm,
I'm gonna make
mm,
sure Hey, look, she over here with me. She good. If you need to know where
yeah,
she is, you ain't gotta worry, bro. When
yeah.
she leaves, she's going here. So it's
Ooh,
just like
ooh, ooh, yes.
yeah.
Sorry, she nailed that. I was reading that comment. You doggone right. Values serve as a guide for human behavior. And
They
they
do.
sure the heck do, but you gotta have somebody instill them in you. Because if you don't, Lord have mercy. I mean, yeah, you're right. You when you're just talking about discipline too, when it comes to the kids, like
Mhm.
that is probably one of the most important things is like how people now they're like, oh, I don't my kids, I'm not disciplining them. I don't know. You have to give them
Right.
guidance. You have to give them, you know, you don't have to go and beat the crap out your kids because they do something wrong, but you have to guide them.
But here
You
goes
have
one of
to.
one of the biggest things that I appreciate is your relationship with your son. Your son, he respects you. He knows that you're mom. He knows that Mike
Mhm.
is dad, and he knows that y'all can have a good time, play around. He could be goofy, be his person, be his own man. But he knows as soon as you say, "Oh, okay, you out of pocket," he's like, okay, I respect you. It's not like you're trying to be his friend. It's like
Yeah.
you know the line, and I think that line has been blurred because there's so many parents that are wanting to kick it with their kids and not have that line. Like, look, I am the elder here. I'm the one that's making sure that you go on to be a better person,
Mhm.
better than me, and not just like me. And that's the problem where these people are like, my child is gonna be just like me, and you ain't doing nothing.
Listen. And that's what I tell him all the time. We had like I said at the beginning of this and I've said it so many other times. I love my everybody loves my Mike Chronicles. If you don't tap into my Mike Chronicles, Lord have mercy. I try to capture the funny ass shit that he says to me and his father, but I try to like put it in. Sometimes you can't even put it into words, but like yesterday I told you me and him was having it out because you know, I clean up the house and him and his dad just do whatever they want. And so they just put things anywhere and I'm the one that got to go back and clean it behind them. And so yesterday he had just cleaned up the living room 2 days before and he's got race cars and tracks all over the freaking living room and he's got ramps built out of pillows and he's got all the and I'm talking about not just one space of the living room, the entire living room. And that thing is not small. And I'm like, Mike, I'm bringing him. I brought home. So I had karaoke practice last night. So when I came home, it was like after 9 o'clock. I brought home some Chick-fil-A because he said he was hungry. So I brought him some Chick-fil-A and I'm trying to set his food up. And he's climbing up there to get his food. And I'm like, why am I stepping on Nerf bullets and cars and stuff? So me and him is having it out. I'm like, yo, you're cleaning this up. And he's like, no, I'm not done. And like this goes to what you say. Like he knows he can kind of teeter top, but he knows when he's about to cross the line and he backs back. So he's like, I'm not done, mom. And he's eating his fries. I was like, dude, this is not your bedroom. You ain't gonna clean this up, then you can't do this. You need to clean it up. And he said something smart. I don't even remember what he said, but it pissed me off. And so I said, you know what? Ain't no woman gonna want you if you dirty. If you don't know how to clean up after yourself, don't no woman want you. And this boy looked at me straight face, dead in my eye. He said, I don't need no woman to make me happy. I make myself happy. And I just looked at Mike, and I swear, Mike's 6'5" ass ducked behind the whole counter in the kitchen, and you could hear him laughing because he knew that was like I had no. What can
That's
I
an
debate there?
aha moment right there. That is facts, man.
It
But bring
was
it
like,
back to
oh
what you
my
said.
god. And I was like, okay, but you know what though? So back to what you just said about Mike. Guess what he did? He stopped eating when I went in the room because I was like, I'm done with this. I went in the room. He stopped eating. When I came back out about 20 minutes later, he had cleaned up all his stuff, and then he got back on the table and started eating again. Because
Mhm.
he knew not to don't play with mama. Like I can joke with you and I could be like whatever, but when mama is serious. And he
Yeah,
did what he needed to
that's
do.
respect. And you can see that with the other kids that are out here. You got a chance to meet on the phone Winston, and I did a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff with him with the Boys and Girls Club, and you could tell who was actually making an impact on these kids because they would have a respect. They would actually say yes, ma'am. They would call people by their last name, like Mrs. or
Mm-hmm.
Mister, and they love the structure. When I started doing the the man program, the Media Arts Music Matters program, there, the kids they didn't warm up to me until they seen that I was there consistently. And then once I came there consistently and
Mm-hmm.
started instilling in them like different things, you could see how they changed, and they didn't have that at home. So what I'm just trying to get off is if they don't have that consistent structure, the
Mm-hmm.
consistent value there, they themselves will not see themselves as being valued. And their attitude will reflect that.
Right. And I'm glad you say something about a role model and mentorship program because that was going to be my next point is that parents and the role that a parent has is important, but so are other relatives, grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins, and mentorship. People outside of the home are also very critical because obviously Mike didn't come until years later. He was born when I was 31, but I became an aunt when I was 14. So I have had a huge impact on my nieces and nephews' lives to the point to where they knew Auntie was like your second mom, but Auntie was also somebody you can go to if you didn't feel like you could go and talk to your parents or whatever the case may be. Auntie was always there. So I took my role as an aunt just as serious because, like you said, like when I tell you it takes a village, I mean that. It really truly does take a village because your kids get so comfortable with you because you're their parent, you're their safe space. They might get into a different arena and like with my sister, there's stuff that Mike might go try to play with me or play with Mike about. And then he get into that space with my sister and she is like, Mike, we're not doing this. And she will, guide him as well. So I think what you're saying is just super important. But you have to speaking of the devil, see, look, hey pal, my nephew. And they call me all the time. They call me all the time for whatever it is that they need to come have a conversation. Sorry, Mike walked in. Have a conversation or just be like, Auntie, what you cooking? You know what I'm saying? Like I have a relationship, but the reason why that was important is because when I was growing up, one of my aunts passed away when I was younger. But before she passed away, she made it a point to be involved in all of our lives, like very hands on with us. And she did not play about it. She was very hands on with us. And that's where I learned how to be like my aunts and how they hands on they were with us, especially her, especially my auntie Bundy. Like she was super hands on with us, especially with me. And they set a standard on how important it was for them to be involved in our life. So I think that that's like what you're talking about with Winston and the mentoring program and all of the mentoring programs that are around, like how important they are, the Boys and Girls Club and things like that. So it's like, what are you doing? Writing something down?
No, I've been trying to send out like the podcast and stuff to people, and then they're
Oh,
commenting, and you know,
I know, like your eyes are like this. So
yeah, yeah. I'm
Ebony, finding out the function of the behavior is key. That's how kids learn, grow, create bonds and relationships. Of
sorry.
course,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes, good
But
stuff.
and you also embed
Thanks for tuning
things
in,
in them.
Ebony. By the way, appreciate you. Thank you.
You
Lots
also
of
embed in this traditions with them. Let's see if there's any part of this that we have not tackled. Oh wait, that's your. We went back to your foodie dating. I want to. I'm about to make a. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm about to make a profile with your picture because I just want to see what this. Like, I wonder if they're going on dates. If they're going on dates and stuff, like to cook and stuff. I really want to know. I'm not in the
I
dating
mean,
scene,
I
but
would definitely. I want to go on a hot pot date. Yeah, I'm gonna set that
oh
up.
shit. Ooh, David.
Huh?
Ooh, David.
Huh?
Hmm.
Huh? Huh?
Can we do like a speed dating show episode with you and single women?
Oh God.
Come on, David.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Well, we can't do it with me.
Oh yeah, well yeah, we can't do it with you. We can't do
Obviously, we
it.
can't do it with me.
Nah.
You know, and so let's
See,
let's
like,
also
oh,
talk
yeah.
about.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you sit on that because I really don't know what your dating life is right now. I don't ask you about your dating life, so I don't know if you're like dating people or not. Look,
That
this
sounds
was.
like a fetish.
Shut up. Speaking of fetishes, let me say something real
Oh my
quick. When we're
God.
talking about generational differences,
Hmm.
so oh Lord, how do I present this? This is a family show.
You
I think it's
know
really
what?
interesting now, like how
As long as you don't
what
bring up the couch anymore, I think we'd be okay.
what couch?
The love couch.
Shut up. Somebody, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If y'all didn't
That
tune into
episode
the We
had me
Time
crazy.
podcast
Oh my
prior
God, that
to when
episode
it,
was so crazy.
we had a whole episode around Valentine's Day, and we talked about this couch because it's like a love couch, a love couch. And we had a whole episode on this doggone couch, not on the couch. Oh Lord, not on the couch. I mean, we were talking about the couch. We were not on the couch. Okay, don't let my words get. We were talking about the love couch.
Mike,
It's funny
Mike, you need to,
that
you
you.
need to invest in that couch. You got to tell
No,
Mike about
listen,
the house
listen.
on it.
So wait a minute. I was about to mention. I was about to mention something about karaoke.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny that you say the couch because while Mike doesn't come to karaoke that much, but he came last week with me.
Mhm.
And so one of my karaoke teammates had said something to Mike, "Did you guys get the couch yet?" So it's funny, I was about to talk about karaoke and then you say
He said, "Well,
something about, oh my God, don't get him started. Let me tell you something. Just because you're married does not mean you have to be boring. But this fool be thinking of some of like what you should. If I could share half the stuff he be sending me, I've been looking at him like my G. You are 6'5", you're 300 solid. Where the hell we gonna fit that at?
matter of
Like,
fact, that's probably why you ain't getting all his quotes done in the day."
no, he gets.
It's
don't
like, shoot, let me
don't no
quote this
see.
right here, and then let me just go ahead and
Don't
quote
stop.
this for
Don't
the
even
house.
start. Don't even start, David.
Let me.
Please don't.
Hey, Tish, would you like to be put the
We
poem
talking
on the
about
screen?
generational differences. Your grandma and grandpa didn't have to have no sex couch.
They didn't have to have no couch, but they
Hell,
figured out
she
how
didn't
to
even
get
have
it
to have
on in the
no
barn.
lingeries. Oh my God.
They got it
They
on in the
had
barn.
the
They
pond.
said the barn. Yeah,
Gee, I
baby.
thought you said the pond. I
They
was gonna
probably
be
did
like
get
that
it in the
muddy.
pond
Like,
too.
what kind of yeast infection is you getting in there?
Them old people, they didn't have swimming pools back then. They was like, hey, we got a pond. You seen wild things. They got out there and had
Oh
it
my
in.
God.
I'm just saying.
Nowadays you got pineapples. Apparently you have all kinds of. I tell you all the time. I be trying to trick Mike whenever we go on cruises. I be trying to get him to wear pineapple
You
pineapple
don't
swim
you
shorts
don't
and
you
stuff.
don't want him to do that. No, no
I
pineapple.
just want to see if it's
No,
the
no.
myths.
Oh my god.
We are funny, okay?
You gonna end
This
up having some problems.
no, look, you see, look what you just started. Look at this.
Yeah,
Look at
they
this.
did.
Look
Shoot,
at
they used
this.
to get in the back of the horse cart. They didn't care. It's like
I can't
shoot.
with you two. Not today.
Yeah,
You know
man.
what?
He'd,
Let me
he'd
just
be a
switch from.
mechanic. He'd be a mechanic. He's like, girl, I'm about to go ahead and tune you up.
Oh
Come
my
on over
god,
here. Start your engine.
Mike couldn't listen. I couldn't imagine Mike back in the olden days with ashy knees and short shorts. You know, the thigh meats was out.
Not the thigh
Come here,
meats.
baby, with a half a cigarette in my. I could not imagine. Oh my
That's
god, let me
horrible.
stop. Let me stop. That's what
Mm-mm.
Mike might be talking. Let me, yeah.
Mm.
Mike said something because Mike. So let me just tell you this funny story. It ain't even funny. It's just I was right and Mike was wrong. So I like to pick out different colognes for Mike, and if he may or may not like it, I'll get like the little samples.
Mhm,
So he loves the YSL,
mhm.
and I got him some Versace over Christmas. And he at first he didn't like the Versace, but then he was like, "Wait a minute, I do like this." And kept telling him about these other different ones, like this Burberry one and this Gucci black and all this. But he was like, "No, I don't want it." But I brought home the little samples for him. And
What
he
did
was
you
like, "No,
get
I
the
don't want that. I
Gucci
don't
on?
want it." So yes, the Gucci. I think that smells so good, but he did not like it.
You didn't like
So he
guilty?
comes home. Listen,
Hey, you
and
need to
this
get
has
on some
been
Savage.
it's been a year and a half. So he comes home today and I'm like, I smelled his shirt. I was like, what is that you got on? And he was like, Gucci. I said, where'd you get Gucci from? And he shows me the little vial. And I said, I'm telling you, you smell like a grown man. And I'm sniffing his neck, and Mike's like, oh, daddy, mommy thinks you're sexy. I was like, well, get your ass on out of there.
He's like, look,
Oh,
we
now
gonna
he
put
trying to.
some stuff.
Now I didn't. I still don't like the Gucci. I just wore it to wear it. Lies, lies. It
He
smells
said,
good.
he's like, I know that reaction.
He's
Say,
lying.
looking at me like a little Debbie cake. Come here.
Come
I'm,
here, girl.
I'm about to
Anyway, we
bow.
are not going to talk about. We could talk about that next week when Verlondon and Mike are going to come on as our guests next week.
So, are they actually? They
Yes, I
committed?
confirmed it today.
Okay,
I
okay.
confirmed it today, and
That's
I
gonna be fun. So, is Mike gonna be in the studio with you? Is that how you're gonna
no,
do
no,
it?
no. He's going to be upstairs on his own. We don't need to
Oh,
be doing all that extra.
okay.
No,
Okay.
he probably gonna take his gaming headphones back, but no.
This is gonna be interesting. I don't know.
And guess what, Verlander? I said, Verlander, what do you wanna talk about? He's gonna say, can men and women be friends?
Ooh,
Yes, they can be friends. Yes, absolutely.
that's a good topic. That's a real good topic.
A real good topic for three men and one woman.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the good understanding of the dynamic of how a man thinks. You got three different perspectives, and who knows who we
One of my
talk to.
best friends is a man.
I thought he
Actually,
was gay.
two. No. Oh my god.
Not that guy.
Well, that's one. The other one, and Barry's not gay.
Okay.
No,
Eh.
and me and Barry been best friends for a long ass time.
Not
Oh,
as
this fool said.
complicated. Okay.
Shut up,
I've
Mike.
been delivered. Delivered.
Oh, he's so. No, one of my best friends. We've been best friends since I was a kid, and
Mhm,
since I was a teenager. Since I was a
mhm,
teenager. And then the other one, Barry. We've been best friends since I was in my early 20s. So we've
mhm.
been best friends a lot of years, and obviously he's not. He's. I mean, but it did take some like. It was kind of those awkward moments where people were like, "Oh, you guys are just so close." So, of course, people always have that, but we can, obviously we can tackle that later, but
Yeah,
um
yeah, yeah, yeah. We
we
can
did
come back
have
to that.
those. So, what do you think, like I already said what I think about. We've had a kind of deep dived into generational differences, but we kind of stayed on dating more than anything else, but if you were to say after we've had this conversation, like one thing that you feel was positively impacted by growth, and was a successful transition from traditional or baby boomer generations into Gen Z, what would it be? Because I already said finances would have been what I think it has actually had a big positive impact as it's grown and changed.
I would say mental health awareness has
Mm,
grown
mm,
because it seemed like in the older days, I'm just going to call it the older days, you know what I'm talking about. It seemed like we really wouldn't address it. It's more or less like they would grow out
mm.
of it or, suck it up. If you feel a certain type of way, you didn't really have a choice or had a way to express how you were having problems processing emotions or thoughts. So
Mm.
I feel like it's been a renaissance on how you can actually talk to people and get help, or there's a lot of kindred spirits out there that didn't even know that somebody else had these type of thoughts or had these type of problems or even experienced the traumas that you did because nobody even brought them up. So I think it's really uh big that we're able to go across you know come across this new age of mental health awareness. And yeah, they just called it crazy back then. Mike, you bring up a point. Back then they just called you crazy. Or, if you had ADHD and you couldn't focus, they were
Right. Or they didn't believe in it, and that's important. And that's another episode that we're going to tackle. We're trying to get some healthcare professionals scheduled too, because like that is something that really, like, nowadays it is more open. So I do believe that the growth of that is people are being more open. I completely agree with everything that you said, and people are more aware um of things mental,
right.
people are more aware in like that. There was a video circulating recently of a woman. She walked into a grocery store and went back into the bakery, and I mean completely naked, and was
Mhm.
rubbing all of the cakes and everything onto her body and everything. And that you could hear the workers. One worker, she just was like, "Stop her!" And the guy that was recording was like, "We can't. The police are on their way." Blah blah blah. And everybody in the comments were like, "This is a cry for help. This is a mental health situation," and things like that. And a lot of time people are starting to identify
Mhm.
mental health situations or addiction type situations. Oh Lord have mercy. We're not even going. I think he's trolling us.
I think you're right about that, Ebony. Mental health is such a
Yeah,
open topic, and especially in the African American community.
and
Uh,
that's what I agree with the growth of that, because we didn't used to talk about it a lot.
no, it wasn't talked about. It was like unspoken,
Yeah,
and
and especially like you said for men.
yeah, men deal with a lot of stuff. I mean, the way that we were taught is like, you don't cry, you know, you push through it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, it's almost like I was talking. I go to Reach Church and I go to Growth Track 301, and we were talking about how males, the insecurities of males when they run into
Really.
things, you know. Hey, I can't help it.
Is that a dating person? So I could put you, or I
No,
could put
it's
her on
not a
my dating
dating.
site.
It's not a dating person. I was supposed to be off at 8.
We're about to do a game show.
But let's go into it. A lot of males, they're insecure about their placement, or we don't teach each other how to collaborate. It's almost we have to compete, and it's
That's
not.
women too, though.
Yeah, I know it's women, but males on the other hand, it's different because it's like
Oh,
we want to hold a certain spot. And if another male comes into the area, it's like, are they going to take my spot?
like
No,
masculine, like a
yeah,
lion,
yeah, exactly. And
territorial. Yeah.
we as males, we don't tell each other we love each other enough. We don't express that, hey, I experienced low days and high days. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a thing that our fathers taught us. Instead, it's like be a man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
suck it up. You ain't gonna cry. You ain't gonna be a sissy. It was ingrained in us. So it was pushed. And it's like There's nothing wrong with pushing somebody to be better than what they are, but then also addressing that there's a condition. Yeah,
Yeah.
even when you're a beta. That's true.
I think we've tackled a lot when it comes to generational differences, and honestly, there's so much more we can talk about on this. But we are focused. Some of us are on time, and some of us are not.
Hey, look,
Some of
I
us
got
are
this thing
prepared, and
called
some of us are not.
I got
Say
this
something
thing called
smart. I promise
I
I'll
got a
fight you through
job,
this.
a job.
Here we go with this
They, they
mess.
they required me to be there with my presence. You know, my
Did you see I bought a
presence.
191? Because ain't nobody worried about what you talking about.
You say what?
I put up
Say,
my 191, so that was a 191 scratch, and I choked in the 10th frame. I would have had a clean game if I would have at least marked in the 10th frame. That damn 10 pin was eating my ass up, but I was making sure I was knocking it down throughout the entire like first 3 9 frames.
you,
We got
you,
in the
you-
10th frame, and I choked on that 10 pin.
hey, you want to hear something?
Nope.
Because I tell you what I heard. It's called excuses. You
Oh,
better
here
than
you
that,
go.
coach.
Well,
You
you could
better than
always
that, coach.
outbow me. Let's see what Miss Ebony said. I hate that social media sways the minds of my teen. Mental health and social media is scary. You are absolutely right, which is something that I touched on. I don't know if you were tuned in last week or earlier.
Yeah,
Um,
it wasn't
but
today.
I definitely touched on that as a parent.
Mhm.
Like, you have to be super involved because there's a lot of things that you got to try to. Social media is like influencing so much, so you have to be very intentional and involved in everything when it
Right,
comes. And our son is only 8. He's about to be 27, but he's only 8, and I have to. His dad and I, always keep an ear to whatever he's listening to. And he's getting into the habit of now, I'm starting. At first, I would tell him change that, so he would just swipe to the next video. But now, what I've started doing is having him give me the tablet or the iPad when it's something that is not, so I can block that person from showing up in his feed. Because nowadays, they just put the craziest stuff on there. Like,
they do. They put the craziest stuff on there, but
because they know kids are so watching it so much.
right, and then they actually set it up to be addictive.
Mm
That's why they have so many different things. I mean, shoot, I find
hmm.
myself looking at the numbers right now, and it's like you do it unconsciously. I can't even get the word. I'm tongue tied.
Mm
Unconsciously, just looking
hmm.
at numbers and looking at smiley faces and different things. It's like they make it like that. They have so many different sounds. Like if you hear a alert, every app, media platform has a different alert sound.
Mm
And
hmm.
you hear that sound, it's like, oh, is that me? Like if somebody's calling you on Google, you know that sound. Somebody's calling you on Google Voice or Google Meet, or somebody's calling you on Messenger. You know the sounds, the
Yeah.
tones. It's like, oh, is that my phone? Is that your phone?
You
Who's that?
FaceTime. Yeah, we're
FaceTime,
trained.
all those sounds they train you, and people don't
Mhm.
realize that I turn my alerts off and I have it on vibrate, so my mind is not gravitating to it. And
Yeah.
it's just the way that these companies they search for algorithms and different things. It's like, oh, that's a catchy tone. Let's go ahead and have that tone. Or I know that's an Apple phone because that's that Apple tone. I know that's a
Yeah.
Samsung because of that. It's bad that it's like that, but that's how they market. That's how they hook people.
Mhm.
Back in the day, they used to talk about school, and we went from having bells to having tones. You know,
Yeah,
so
you do mute everything. He don't respond to nothing either. If you put my husband in a group chat, don't expect him to respond at all.
oh, don't say that.
I don't even pick up his phone, but I'm more likely to read your messages than he is if you put him in a group chat.
I automatically
He is the
delete
mute
those messages.
king. He is the mute king, okay? He'll be sitting right next to me and I'll call him and he'll ignore me.
He's sitting
I
right
have to
next to
tell
him.
I'll be
Why
testing
would
him.
why
I'll
you
be
calling
testing.
him?
No, no,
Why
no.
why
Mind
you
your business.
why you
Mind your
calling? Why
business.
you calling? You right there. I would ignore you
He,
too.
whatever.
Exactly. That is
Ain't nobody
foolishness.
worried about you.
Yeah.
All
But
right,
what
David. So
are you?
listen, check this out. First
What
of
I'm gonna
all, you
check.
guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in to episode number 3. Next week is number 4 with special guest, my boy, my husband, and my brother. I was gonna say my boy VGC.
Touch her, Lord. Touch her.
I'm going to be outnumbered. So, ladies, please tap in with me next week so that they don't be trying to run all over me. I have to have my control. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so next week it's gonna be interesting. I have this idea in mind for a game to play with the guys. Um and so I'm trying to tap into that. So you guys try to tune in next week. No, tune in next week,
Not
7 o'clock.
try to tune in. Just do
Not
it.
try to tune
Just
in.
do
Yeah,
it.
just do it.
Just do
Just
it.
do it. Just
Get on
do
here and be a
it. Just
part of the
do it. Do it.
podcast.
Do it. Oh
You
yeah.
know, we're starting to grow this thing, and
Yes.
we might be calling on some of y'all to come up and be special guests. So just
Oh
interact with us.
yeah.
Let us know.
Most
Because
definitely.
we would love to get some other people up here to be on the platform and chit chat for a minute and spread
Yeah.
some of your insights. Like Ebony, you had some really good
Spread
points.
my wings
So
and fly away
and
to a
make
place.
sure you share. If you get on here and you like what you're hearing and stuff like that, share it. It's we time. It's for everybody
Yeah.
to be a part of it.
It's our time with you. And make sure you guys go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Hit that little bell button so you know when we're going live.
Bing.
Go to our Facebook and make sure that you follow us on Facebook because we will go live on both platforms. And if you have some topics or anything that you feel like, or even some trending stuff that you want us to kind of touch base on, definitely hit us up. We do have an
Also,
email, wetimepodcast@gmail.com. You can hit us up there too. But you see all of our socials on the banner right here. Like,
yeah.
follow, share, subscribe to the We Time Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Also, if you are a part of the mental health industry, please let us know so that we can link people up who reach out to. We
Yes,
want to
because we
make
do
sure
have
that
that. Yeah.
we want to make sure that if you need help or struggling with anything, we can get you linked up with some people. We have a couple of people that can help you out with those things. And then also, if you are active in any community outreaches or anything like that, let us know. You know,
Yeah,
we
so
would
we can pin
love
it
to
to our
hear about
page and
it.
we can try to come, not just hear about it. I want to, take my
Be
son
about
down
it.
there and teach him how to get involved.
All
You
right.
know, I'm big on that. Mike will tell you. I joke around and I'm funny and all that stuff, but my I always try to give back in a way that I can. And my son is always present when I do it. And one time I remember I did something for an officer that was in line and the officer was just floored and my son said to him, "Oh, don't worry, officer. She does this all the time. She likes to make sure that she gives back to people. She calls paying it backwards." I was like, it's called paying it forward, Mike. He was close though. He was close.
It's
But
close. It's close.
the
It
fact
takes
that
a second.
that even floored the officer even more than he already was because he was like, I was already just shocked that you did it in the first place, but to hear your son say that, and I was like, I try to teach him to be just a human, just you don't have to have a reason to be nice to somebody. You don't have to have a reason to make somebody's day. You don't have to have a reason to be a support system to somebody and give back in different ways. So I always try to teach him those skills and I lead by example when it comes to that. So when you talk about the outreach programs like Winston will be tapping into in a couple weeks and
Mhm.
other outreach programs or even mental health programs that we can help with, like, if there's some opportunities for volunteering, definitely send them my way as well so we can share it on our platforms. But I would definitely like to try to get more involved in some community outreach programs. And I think that is a good start for, getting my son out there too.
I
And
agree.
David can make us a turkey leg while we out there because I'm going to be hungry.
Hungry. All right.
And maybe hopefully David will let me play a love connection with him, but who knows? Either way it goes, you guys, thanks for tuning in. We Time Podcast with DJ Spin I Am and your girl Tish Kanani. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m. One day, David will make us a sound bite, but until then, I'll just be my own sound bite.
I'm just gonna sit here.
Adios, amigas and amigos. Bye, David.
Peace. Bye.